Hello, supporters. Jeff with Left Behind K9 here. We are super excited to launch the new Left Behind K9er program this month. This will give us a great opportunity to bring behind-the-scenes footage of all the fun we do here at Left Behind K9. We'll get to introduce you to many of our partners and volunteers, show you how it all works, and of course, meet lots of four-legged celebrities. As a K9 Club member, you'll receive exclusive access to behind-the-scenes footage each month. This will give you a deeper understanding of all the work that we are doing and how you can help. Up next, I'd like to introduce you to Chewy. He is a true rags to riches story. He came our way last year with a severe medical condition. He needed our love, he needed our care. We took excellent care of him. He had an amazing foster home, and since then he has officially been adopted. Check out his story next.
So this is my old pal Chewy, who we brought in back in January after a call from one of our partner vets out of the Portland area. He was in need of a critical surgery in a special foster, and I knew exactly who the perfect person to call for this case was, my friend, Dr. Jenny Watts.
Chewy he was about 4 months old when we got him, and he was surrendered because he was vomiting all the time. And when they went in to look at why, they found that he had a persistent right aortic arch, which meant that the esophagus as a tube is kind of just being strictured down slowly and slower, and then behind it, it's dilating out. So you've got this big pocket behind it. And that was causing him to not be able to eat, but it also had him, unfortunately, he had a really nasty case of pneumonia at the same time. So the partner vet set up the surgery for him and got the arch taken care of after about a week of hospitalization for the aspiration pneumonia, and then he came to us the next day.
One of the things I'm most proud of with Left Behind is that we've developed such a wide variety of a foster network, and we're very lucky to have 5 volunteer veterinarians that help us with all these cases and do a lot of fostering, you being one of them. So not only were we taking on Chewy's case being a difficult financial situation to take on, but we also need to make sure he had a foster home that could take care of his needs, which is why we talked you into that.
Well, he's my first foster, so he's the first one I ever did for you guys. And the reason that I took him on was because he's a medical case and he's very complicated, and I figured if he needed things like hospitalization or anything like that I was well versed in that. He came to us as this, well, he was really like scruffy, and half of his side was all shaved up, and he looked really pathetic, and he was super skinny. But it's kind of cool to be able to work with that and play with him and find out his personality, which is very sweet and now very rambunctious, but at that point was pretty cuddly and quiet and loving. He had to have pain control because he had massive surgery in his thoracic cavity, and then he had to have control antibiotics and care because of his pneumonia, and then we didn't really know how to get him to eat because these dogs are dogs that you have to kind of play with the consistency of the food and the type of the food and how do you hold them up or do you put them down and what kind of medications. So we were playing with it for a while, kind of working with everything. He ended up doing pretty well initially. We ended up figuring out that he needs to be held straight up like a human, which now he has a chair for, which is really nice. If you ask everybody at work, and probably my husband, they will all tell you that I decided to keep him probably about a week into actually fostering him. Officially, we didn't foster him. I think it was April. I think we had officially adopted him in April. But yeah, being able to foster for you guys is actually, I think, one of the cooler things. I like being able to do the medical things, and I love being able to fix the dogs with the giant hernias or the broken legs or things like that. That's really, really cool, and it's a lot of fun, but it's really cool to also be able to use my knowledge to be able to work with the dogs specifically that need maybe a little bit more in home. And the fosters, because like him, they're so complicated, they need so much, and that's where having a really good foster system comes into effect. So the difference between a lot of rescues and a lot of just individual rescue work is that in part there's a funding issue, right? You get these dogs like Chewy or Griffin who are very, very expensive and very, very, very complicated, and the ability to actually do what needs to be done for those animals is very hard, or if not impossible. That being said, Left Behind never is one of those rescues that does things halfway. I mean, we basically always do it, and we always fix them to the best of our abilities. That does mean sometimes it's something like Muppet where there's an amputation as opposed to fixing the broken leg, but if that gets a better quality of life, then that's really, really important, and that's very, very, very different than a lot of things I've done in the past. But it's not just the money part of it either. The volunteer network we have is amazing. The people that foster, the people that volunteer to help out, the people that volunteer to just drive an animal back and forth to their appointments and doing all of those things is huge, and it makes it so much easier for us too, because we know that they're going to go into a environment where they're taken care of and they're loved and treated like they're somebody's pet until they can go to their forever home as well.
Well, that was Chewy's story, and as Dr. Watts said, we are so lucky to have an amazing group of volunteers who make all this possible. It allows us to save dogs like Chewy and many of the other dogs you met in this video. As a K9er Club member, we'll be delivering a new video each and every month to help keep you informed about how your support is helping with our life-saving work. For just $9 a month, you'll have exclusive access to these behind-the-scenes videos. This donation will likely be the most impactful use of your dollars in your entire monthly budget. It's an investment in our life-saving work, something you can be proud to be a part of, and something you'll be reminded of each month when a new behind-the-scenes video drops. And sign yourself up today. Together, let's make a difference for our four-legged friends in need.